YouTubers everywhere are trembling because your girl has a love. Hey everybody, it has been quite some time since I've done a vlog. So long, in fact, that I feel super fake sitting here talking to a camera. I've lost all of my camera skills. You'll notice some changes to the setup. For starters, I'm shooting in 4K, which is really nice. You won't notice I'm in 4K, but when I do push-ins... Also, I have a lav. Wow, fancy. Just make film your profession and then you too can buy still cheap gear. The goal is not to have the best gear, it's to have gear that does the bare minimum of what you need it to do. So today I am going to be doing the Model Horse series tag by TigerEyesFilms. Yes, Aqua, I'm aware you have a Model Horse film tag. I'm gonna be doing that one too, but I never got around to doing Grace's, and Grace has been waiting patiently for me to do it for years now. I think it's only been 1 year. Yeah, it's been a year now, a little over a year. The difference between the two tags is Grace's is more focused on the creator and their series, so this is going to be all about me as a creator and all about necrosis, because if I am anything, it is a raging narcissist. Okay, so the first question is, where did your inspiration for your series come from? Necrosis honestly originally spurred from this book series called Shadow of the Dragon. I've talked about this in I think one other video, but the book is Shadow of the Dragon by Kate O'Hearn. It's actually a series of 2 books. Fun fact, I actually emailed her and was like, oh my gosh, I love your series so much, and she emailed me back. And she's actually the author of the Pegasus series, and she was like, yo, I like horses too, and it was really cool in elementary school, okay? But a lot of inspiration when I was thinking about how I wanted to do a series came from that book, to the point where you could look at it and go, inspiration. So the second question was, how did your idea of your series come about? I kind of answered that, but I distinctly remember I was sitting at my desk and I was like, okay, I want to make a Model Horse series that isn't Mystery of the Fallen, because I'm burnt out on Mystery of the Fallen. I don't know what to do with it. I don't enjoy it. I want to make something that I enjoy. And I remember sitting there in my chair going over some of my favorite books and, you know, what they were about. I had already tried doing The Forest of Hands and Teeth, it's a Model Horse series, which never went out because I literally was doing The Forest of Hands and Teeth from the book. Like, I called it that, the characters the same, I used dialogue, like it was supposed to be a faithful adaptation of The Forest of Hands and Teeth into Model Horse form. But I was really thinking about the different books that I loved, and this was before I had really gotten into the Lunar Chronicles, so I'm sure if the Lunar Chronicles had been in my life when I was brainstorming Model Horse series, we would have ended up with some sci-fi cyborg-esque thing. Necrosis wouldn't have been Necrosis. It actually wouldn't have existed. So when I was thinking through favorite books, Shadow of the Dragon came to mind, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do that. Question number 3, who is your favorite character? This has kind of changed. I used to, if I had done this when this tag first came out, my answer would have been Athania, who you guys have not even met yet. But in doing some writing for Necrosis in this past week, I have fallen head over heels in love with Tristarian. When we get to the meat of Tristarian and you actually get to understand him and all of the trauma that he goes through in this series, when we finally get to see that destroy him, he turns into such a fleshed out character. And I always kind of have felt like he and Lenora both have been Mary Sue's, and they're being driven by plot and not necessarily being people. And in what I'm writing, I'm learning that that's not necessarily the case. It's just, at 14, I didn't know how to really handle everything that was going on with him, and now I have a much better understanding of who he is. And now I'm super uber attached to Tristarian, which is probably good because, you know, I play him. Who is your least favorite character? Lenora. Not because she's a bad character, it's just because she's me. She is incompetent, incapable, but dang it, is she trying her best. But she's my least favorite character because I feel like I'm just watching myself on screen and I'm like, how are you still alive? Question number 5, who is a character you relate to the most? Lenora. That's why I hate her the most. We love self-loathing here on this channel. What scene / episode are you most proud of? Probably, I think it's episode 7, the prison scene with the Reaper and Mari, the nurse. That prison scene, it was all dark and moody, and the fact that I really got to shape the light to make it look exactly like 14-year-old Megan's brain thought it should look, it just blows my mind. Because if I had filmed that a year before I filmed it, or like when I was 14 writing the scene, it would not have looked as good, and it wouldn't have carried the same weight, and it wouldn't have made me actually cringe when I was editing it. Like, I was editing it like, oh, this is so gross, I hate this. But that's good because that's what it needed to be. So I'm definitely the most proud of that scene. But I also have a soft spot for the scene in episode 6 with the whole fight, because I paid a commission to my friend Kay to do the music, and so that has a really soft spot in my heart, because, you know, that is the first time that I've ever gotten original music for anything, and I cried.
That's literally yours. That's yours. That's yours. Not mine. If I use that, I'd get copyright. That's yours.
I cried when I heard it because I was like, this is perfect, Kay, you are a genius. Kay's commissions are open if anybody's interested. Just you know, plugging my friend in here. Favorite piece of equipment you use for your series? Probably my camera, but I still film on my Nikon because I started this series on my Nikon. Dang it, I'm gonna finish it. I guess I'll talk about my favorite lens because I use different lenses. For all of my interiors, and honestly my exteriors too, I use my 35mm prime lens. I really like this lens because the lowest aperture I can get on it is a 1.8, and when I'm filming interiors,
interior crocodile alligator, I drive a Chevrolet movie theater.
And when I'm filming interiors especially, I don't like to use a lot of light, so that that iris has to be as open as it possibly can be. So that would probably be my favorite piece of gear, just because worth every penny. Question number 8, favorite part of the production process? Used to, I would have said editing. Never in my life will I say filming. Now I'm honestly gonna say writing. I love getting to write it. If somebody would just film it for me, it hurts my back. I'm 5'9". Okay? I'm 5'9". I have so much back pain. I'm tired of it. Question number 9. If your series has multiple storylines, which is your favorite? I guess I'm gonna have to keep the storylines with storylines you guys know are happening, because my favorite has not happened yet. This is hard.
That's what she said.
Honestly, Lier, I don't think her storyline is exceptionally well written. I feel like I kind of rushed it, but I like seeing her development from kind of a more, not even necessarily development, but her character has a lot more depth than we originally see. And I just enjoy her being on screen, and I just think she's pretty and nice to edit. So yeah, I guess Lier. And now we have the last question. How has your series impacted your life? Well, Necrosis kind of is my life at this point. I started writing this when I was 14, and I'm 22, almost 23 now, so it's been 8 years. It's been 8 years. That's how math works. And I think it's really interesting to see the stuff that I'm writing now for the Fate arc of Necrosis compared to where Necrosis was. I think it's really interesting to see how I've grown as a person. I think the best example is early on in the series with Leo's character and the mule. You kind of can see me having difficulty with my faith and the church and everything. Full disclosure, Necrosis is how I work through things. And so I was really in a place where I was shutting down my faith, turning an eye to it. I wanted nothing to do with it. And to see what Necrosis has evolved into, where I am now writing it, is entirely about faith and how pivotal and important that is in people's lives and identities and the universe. Just to see that growth and development, I don't know, I think it's really cool. And I think it's a really good documentation of who I am as a person and how I've grown. Not just in, you know, stylistically seeing, you know, the difference between episode 1 to just episode 8, which I'm editing right now, to see the growth in me as a person. I just think it's really cool because my kids are going to be able to see that. My kids are going to be able to see this is where mom was when she was 14 and here's where she was when she was, I don't know, maybe I'll be 32 and I'm still doing this. I have no idea. I just think that's really cool and really awesome, and it's one of the things about being a filmmaker and a storyteller that, you know, when you're younger, you don't think about because you don't have any perspective. So sorry to get all deep. That's definitely how necrosis has impacted my life. It just made me a lot more thoughtful. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to check out the original video by TigerEyesFilms. The link is in the description. Grace is super, super awesome. And this tag was super, super awesome. I put on makeup. I got out my camera and I actually got to interact with my model horses without having to write or film or edit, and I don't know, that was just nice. So thank you, Grace, thank you, and thank you everybody for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.